All aboard the Atlantic Coast Express, once the pride of southern England and a symbol of seaside escape for generations of travelers. But this wasn't just a regular passenger train. This was a machine of precision, mystery, and some truly unbelievable secrets. Today, we dive into the untold story of the Atlantic Coast Express, also known as the ACE. Launched in 1926 by the Southern Railway, the Atlantic Coast Express linked London Waterloo with multiple holiday destinations in Devon and Cornwall. Places like Ilfracombe, Padstow, Bude, and Torrington. But here's the twist. The ACE wasn't one train. It was many trains in one. This single train would start as a long convoy from Waterloo, but at various stations like Exeter and Salisbury, it would split into separate sections, each heading to a different coastal town. Imagine a train pulling into a station and then dividing itself like a mechanical octopus. This logistical ballet required incredible precision. Some versions of the ACE had as many as 13 different through coaches, all going to separate locations. It was like a human-powered algorithm sorting carriages in real time, well before computers existed. The ACE was a marvel of coordination. If just one connection was delayed or a signalman made a mistake, it could throw the entire operation into chaos. Now here's something that even railway buffs might not know. Despite being called the Atlantic Coast Express, none of its destinations actually touched the Atlantic Ocean. All the stops were on the English Channel. The name was pure marketing magic, designed to conjure images of distant, dramatic coastlines. During the post-war boom, the ACE symbolized freedom. For many, it was their first ever trip to the sea. But behind the joy, there were darker tales too. The long route through remote countryside meant the train was occasionally used to transport classified military materials during World War II, especially via its less-known branches. Some of those sidings, especially near Oakhampton and Launceston, were reportedly used for secret government trains. No public records exist, but retired railwaymen have hinted at strange nighttime activity involving heavily guarded coaches. The express was usually hauled by powerful West Country, or Battle of Britain-class locomotives, designed for speed and steep grades. One unknown fact? The ACE was the first regular express to use the rebuilt Merchant Navy-class engines, giving it unmatched power and prestige in the 1950s. In one eerie tale, a driver on the ACE route reportedly stopped his train just before hitting a landslide, because he saw a ghostly figure waving a lantern in the mist. When railway workers arrived, they found no one, only fresh debris on the line. Urban legend, or supernatural warning? The end came in 1964, thanks to the beaching cuts. Many of the destinations lost their direct rail service forever. But the Atlantic Coast Express lives on in railway heritage events and nostalgic recreations. It held an unofficial speed record on a steep gradient on several occasions. Drivers of the ACE unofficially hit speeds exceeding 90 miles per hour, especially on the descent between Exeter and Salisbury. This was remarkable for a steam-hauled train over a twisting, hilly route not designed for high speed. These runs were never officially documented but were shared in driver memoirs. It had more route variants than almost any other UK train at its peak. The Ace served more than 10 different destinations, with up to 20 unique route combinations thanks to branch line splits. No other named train in Britain served such a complex web of destinations from a single origin. It was a suitcase train. Before airports took over, the Ace gained the nickname, the suitcase train, due to the sheer volume of luggage and holiday gear it carried, especially surfboards, bicycles, fishing rods, and even crated pets. It was the go-to service for middle-class vacationers heading to seaside resorts before car travel and airports became common. It had secret military detours during World War II. Certain Ace sections were quietly rerouted to supply RAF bases, radar stations, and coastal defenses in the West Country. These were done without public schedules, using freight sidings and rural branches for camouflage. It inspired multiple works of fiction. Although less famous than the Orient Express, the Ace appeared in post-war British crime novels and radio dramas, often as a symbol of escape, or a setting for murder mysteries. It even appeared in a 1950s children's adventure series about kids solving a jewel theft on the train. Staff had to memorize dozens of connection codes because of the complex splitting at junctions like Exeter St. David's. Train guards and station masters memorized dozens of coach labels and handwritten carriage codes to ensure proper detachment and redirection. Mistakes could send a Padstow-bound passenger to Ilfracombe. It crossed some of the least-known viaducts in England. The Ace traversed rare and now-defunct viaducts like the Torrington Viaduct and Woodley Viaduct, which offered panoramic views of the Devon countryside but were rarely photographed due to their remoteness. Some were demolished shortly after the route closed. There was a miniature Ace in operation. A miniature version of the Ace, complete with custom headboards, was once operated at a seaside amusement park in Bude in the 1960s. It was a 10.25-inch gauge railway meant for children, commemorating the real train's legacy. It was more than a train. It was a seaside promise, a technical feat, and a rolling storybook of British rail history. The Atlantic Coast Express may no longer thunder down the tracks, but its spirit still echoes through the countryside. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon. More railway secrets are just around the bend.